Imagine making an additional $20,000 off of a $500 advertisement investment. So this is a story of a dog trainer, Lynn, Canine OTC, who was already crushing it in her dog training business. It was run by her and her husband, and they were already doing fine, but they wanted that additional income. They know that maybe referrals was not the best way to run a business, that, there's no predictability, there's no control there. So one of the things they did is they hired us as a marketing agency, and now they're making $20,000 every single month, and they're only spending $500 on ads. And again, it's just them two. There's nothing special going on here, nothing crazy behind the scenes, but they just started implementing the systems that we help other trainers implement. So my name is Jorge Mateo. I am founder of Canine Conversions, and what we do is we help dog trainers grow and scale their business. And in my YouTube channel, that is exactly what we do. I try to provide as much value as possible. That way you can start making more money, save more dogs' lives, help dogs have a better relationship with their owner, and help me with my mission, which is all of that. So let's just dive right into it. So there's two types of dog trainers or dog business owners, or just general any kind of business owners, right? There's one who is still relying on word of mouth. And the problem with that is that either there's no consistency, you have no idea when the next client's going to be, and then you simply have no control of your business. You're relying on other people for your business, right? And if you've ever experienced any, inconsistent months, not knowing when is the next client's going to be after having record-breaking months, then you understand this feeling, right? The scary feeling of you don't know what to do next. And that's one type of client, right? The other type of clients is that they understand that they need paid ads, but they're only relying on leads themselves. And that is one of the biggest things that I see a lot of trainers have this mentality, is that they're only relying on leads. And we live in a time where the trust is so low, the competition is so high, we call it the trust recession, right? So it's like leads alone is not going to cut it. So you need some sort of system in order to help, your business grow and scale and make sure that it doesn't go out of business. Because the worst thing that you can do is simply only rely on word of mouth, right? After only relying on leads. And one of the things that I don't want for you is that I don't want you to ever be in a position where, you don't think that you need paid ads, but then all of a sudden you do because, the referrals dried up. And now you're kind of stuck trying to find that other marketing agency. You're running out of money, so you find the cheapest one and they don't give you the type of results. So what I want to do for you is hopefully change your mind that right now is the best time. And that is exactly the mentality that Lynn had. She was already crushing it with just referrals. And she wasn't in the position where she wasn't not going to survive the next month if she didn't have any paid ads. What she did is she put herself in the position where she never has to think about that anymore, right? And she's already making like $20,000 a month off of 500. So that right there, it is like a 20x ROAS. And even though not everyone gets this, because not everyone's willing to put in the work, not everyone's willing to follow the system, at the end of the day, it's all the system, right? And that is what we do differently here at Canine, is not only do we just give you the leads, but we give you the sales process, which is the most important. We go over your social media, how to fully optimize it, your presence. So it's all a whole process that if you do not have, if you only have, 4 of these 5 nailed down, you're not going to get the same result. All right. So I'm just going to dive into what these processes or systems are. 5-point system. Okay. So we're going to start with number 1, your social media. We want to make sure that your social media is fully optimized. Okay. So this is your social media. This is your picture. And then right here is the followers. You got the bio, and then of course you got like all the pictures and stuff, right? So up here, I'm gonna show you an example or a few examples of some social media profiles that I absolutely love and that are fully optimized. I'm not gonna dive into too much into this, but pretty much you want to make sure that you have your logo fully, very, very clear. You don't want to make sure that it's, you want to make sure that it is clear. You want to make sure that it is, people can easily see it. And it is, if you're using a personal brand, you want to make sure that, you're looking straight at the camera. You're not looking away, and people can see that it's a real human being or using your logo. You want to make sure that this is fully optimized, your bio, making sure that, one, you're putting the location, who you serve, and any awards that you've gotten, right? This, or what kind of dog trainer that you're, type of dog trainer that you're at. So you want to make sure that this is right here. And then here, you want to make sure on the social media, you want to make sure that, you're constantly posting and being consistent with it. Like nothing sucks more than seeing a great ad and then people are curious. So then they go to your profile, and then once they look at the profile, they see that there's no stories, there's nothing there. The last post was 2 or 3 years ago. Naturally, a lot of people are gonna leave your profile, and then you just lost that lead. So it's like, I like to give this example of like, going to a store. And then, the outside of a store may look good. So you go inside, but then there's nothing there. Like there's nobody in the front desk. There's nobody in the cashiers. The shelves are pretty much empty. You have no idea what they're selling. There's no clear message. Like, are you going to buy something from there? Like, no, naturally, you're probably just going to leave, right? So you want to make sure that, your social media is fully optimized, because it is the exact same thing, just in the digital world, because we are living in the digital world right now. So that is your number one as like your 1 point, the 5-point system is you want to make sure that the leads are fully optimized. And I've already tested this before. I've already tested it to where like we're running the exact same ads, same message, like literally everything was the same location, budget. I mean, everything was exactly the same. The only difference was that, one profile didn't have as much followers as the other one, but was constantly posting their stories. They already had like 5 different stories for that day. Their posts, they had one post pretty much every single day. While the other one, it's like there has no stories. It had more followers, but the last post was like 2 years ago, and then after that was like 3 years ago. So what happened? The result was pretty crazy, and that is that the profile with least followers but more engagements, not that they were receiving engagement, but they were posting more constantly, had a better cost per lead, had better results than the other one. So this is why you want to make sure that it's fully optimized. And this is why, we have, trainings strictly, which down below the video, I'll show you, and, we call it house in order. We'll show you exactly, how to get your social media fully optimized. So that's one. All right. Secondly, are what we call funnels. All right. What funnels are, if you don't know that terminology, they're pretty much like site pages. And I absolutely hate running ads on websites. Like it's a big no-no for me. And the reason is because, there's so many different distractions. If you run ads to a website, people click on it, they're going to want to go to the About Us page. They're going to want to go to the testimonial page. They're going to want to go to like the offer page. There's just so many distractions that they're just going to get lost. The thing with the funnels is that it has one objective. And that objective is to capture name, email, and phone number depending on what your offer is on the ad. Okay, so funnels. You want to make sure that you have a proper funnels. And the way that we set up our funnels is that we have our, landing page. The landing page, it has like, like the headline, subheadline, image or picture of you, an image or a video of you. I strongly encourage videos. Like, videos are just the absolute best thing that you can do to your business. And then it has, what this, offer is. We like to offer like a transformation session or eval, pretty much both the exact same thing. But with the transformation session, we like to provide a little bit more value than the eval. So, we have the description, and then we have like the testimonials, right? And then from here, after someone opts in, it takes them to the calendar, and we call this initial call. And what this initial call is we want to make sure that, that you're calling all the leads that actually book an appointment. That way you're fact finding them and making sure that they're even qualified for you to meet them in person, rather than being a transformation session or eval. You want to make sure that they're qualified, because you do not want to meet every single one of them, because there's going to be a handful of people who are not going to be qualified, who are looking for the free thing. They're going to be thinking, oh, I thought this was free, and they're not going to want to pay for anything else. So this right here is the most important part out of all of them, is that initial call and how you say that. All right. And then after someone books, you have your confirmation page, right? And this is the confirmation page where it says another video, which I strongly record a video saying, hey, thank you for booking your call. This call, this call that you just, schedule call is just to, to get to know you and your dog a little bit more. I want to make sure that we're a right fit for your transformation session. So before you can even claim your transformation session, show up to this call, and then we'll see if, we can move forward, right? So you're fact finding people here, right? So this right here is the funnels, all right? So you have, let's see what else. All right, one is house in order, 1 point of the system, 2 is the funnels, and then 3, all right, we have what is traffic, okay? So when it means traffic, it's like there's two types. There's organic and then there's paid. Okay, so what we do is that we absolutely love paid ads. Paid ad is the best and fastest way to grow a business. It's one of those things that you have full control over everything. And that is exactly what Lynn is doing, where we're investing $500 on ads and she's making $20,000 back because of the paid ads. Not organic, but because of the paid ads. Like, she's tracking everything and seeing how many sales actually came from Canine Conversions. So we see that, paid ads is, we want to do that, and it can either, we like to do both Facebook and IG. We also like to do Google as well, or we do Google, but Facebook and IG is just, in my opinion, one of the best ways, especially if you have like a low budget. Google is one of those things where if you have a budget of like 1,000 or more, then you could do that. Or if you're looking to scale and using both, Meta and Google, then perfect. But if you're someone who just like, doesn't want to start really that big, but wants to start with a smaller budget, 500 to 1,000, and you definitely use Facebook and Instagram. So I definitely recommend that that's the minimum. Yes, you could technically have less minimum, but that is the bare minimum that we could recommend all our clients. If you have 250, then definitely try it out. Okay. So then here, we run ads. So it's like we set up the ad. It's, we like to set up the video ad where you have your message. It's like, hey, San Diego dog owners, if you have a dog who's who's like pulling on a leash, who's reacting for every dog that comes, and who's just being too aggressive, whatever it is, this is where we pull our message, and then we give them a solution or your offer. And this is why I want to offer you a free transformation to help with X, Y, and Z. All you have to do is just click the link below to claim your transformation session, right? This is what we call the CTA. All right, so then after the ad, I'm going to name the ad, it'll go into this page right here, into the landing page, right? And then it'll go from here, it'll go from here to here to here. All right, so now you see that we have this, all right? And then we have fourth and the most important out of all of them, okay? And that is sales. Like, this right here is the most important out of all of them. If I were to rate them, if I were to like give them percentage of like how important it is to like, get clients based off all of them, I would say that this right here would be at least 60%. All right. This right here would be probably like, like 25%. All right. And then the rest will be for funnels. And then number 5, I'll not that much, and I'll explain why. But it's like, having these right here, like this is the most important here is sales. Sales takes the majority of it. And the more you understand it, the more you're going to win. And this is why I say that, this is how she's able to turn 500 to 20,000. And this is why we have trainers where we literally give them the entire system to their business, but there's some that cannot make any money because they don't have this sales and process. So it's like, what do you do when a lead comes in, right? How fast are you following up? How much are you following up? Because there are some like real life stats that it's like, conversions increases by 391% if you call the lead within the first 60 seconds, right? Or, like sales happen, anywhere between the 6th or 12th attempt, what majority of business owners, give up after just one call. So it's like knowing those type of data, knowing exactly as soon as a lead comes in, it goes from ad to landing page. All right. And then from there, the lead comes in, right? So it's like, what do you do with this lead? Yeah, they can actually book a call with you, but like for those who don't, or even for the ones who did, it's like, what do you say on that call? So it's like that this sales part is the most important one here, because this part right here pre-frames for how that evaluation or transformation session is going to be. You're not going to, like, right here in the sales part of it is you want to make sure that you're even asking the right type of questions. That way, the biggest pain point and actually see if you can actually help them. Because if there's someone who's like just looking for free and doesn't understand that, like, that this session it is technically free, but there's going to be an offer made to them afterwards. Like, if they don't have that pre-frame, and if you don't do your job on making sure that they understand it, you're always going to end up meeting with like, tire kickers and people always looking for free, right? And you're just going to be left feeling frustrated, saying that the ads don't work or the systems don't work with like a lot of people do. It's like, here's the thing. There's the people who make the most noise online and talk the most, like the worst, that talk bad about us online are the ones who blame the leads because they're trash when they never even did this part, and they only call their leads one. There's some, which I'll show in the screenshot right here in the CRM, like I'll show a screenshot where there's like over 100 leads on the new lead column, meaning that they didn't even contact any leads, or they have like 300 leads in the one-time column, and then they're blaming us, saying that the leads are trash, that we don't know we don't know how to advertise, when we have people like Lynn absolutely crushing it, who understands that, there is a sales price, and who understands that the majority of the 5-point system is going to be sales. And it's like, how do you follow up? What do you say? How often? Like all these little things. And the more you understand it, the more you're going to win. Trust me when I tell you this, and especially nowadays, okay? Because remember what I said in the beginning, lead alone is not going to make it anymore. Like back then, when I first started running ads, I couldn't run an ad and already make like without talking to anybody on the phone, and already make a profit, and have a big return on ad spend. Nowadays, because of the trust is so low, we call it the trust recession, and the competition is so high, it's like, how special do you think you are that every lead that's going to come in is going to want to work with you out of all the other people? Like, how special do you think you are that someone, a complete stranger, is ready to drop 3, 4, 5 G's on one of your offers or one of your services if they never even heard from you, right? So it all happens in sales. So it's like, as soon as the lead comes in and you're fact finding them and everything, then from there, it's like you meet them in the eval, right? And then on the eval, like exactly like, what do you do on the evals? How do you say it? So how do you pre-frame everything, right? So everything happens on the sales. That's why here, we have this client dog trainer who's he's making 6 figures a month in his dog training business. And, he's absolutely crushing it. I told him, hey, are you open to, doing a mastermind with the rest of the community, showing them exactly how you do the evals to close them. And he went through everything. We got his SOPs. We got the entire plate from him, So this is why I said sales is the most important. And if you are missing this, which I want to say the majority of trainers are missing these, then, you can have a hard time with paid ads. You're going to have a hard time growing and scaling your business. You need to learn the skill. And I'm not talking about, sales from referrals. Like, those are the easiest closes possible. Like they're already pre-sold. They already have the trust high because they got recommended from someone they trust. So naturally their trust is high in you versus someone who's never heard from you. So the more you understand them, the more you're going to win. All right. So that is going to take the majority of it. And then lastly, there is the delivery, which if I can learn how to spell. All right, and then it comes to delivery. I'm not going to talk too much about the delivery because this is what happens after the sale, which is what's their onboarding like? How's that first session like? Like, what are you doing to make sure that you're giving the best customer service, to them? That way, by the end of the call, they can give you a good review. And by the end of the sessions or the program, they'll give you a good review. And then you ask them for a quick video testimonial. Because at the end of the day, you want to create as many video testimonials for every dog that comes in here and graduates with your program. You want to make sure that you're having that, just because nothing is best when it comes to following up with people. Imagine this. All right. Imagine you have a testimonial and case study. I keep looking at this because I keep thinking that it was off. Anyways, imagine having a case study of all types of different dogs, and then you talk to someone who's like having a similar issue. Like, let's say, for example, you just finished working with the German Shepherd, right? And the German Shepherd, was very was either aggressive or wasn't listening to their trainer, or was it was way too reactive in public, whatever it is, right? Imagine if you just finished talking to a lead with a similar problem who has a German Shepherd. So what do? You would follow up with them and you would send them a case study of that exact same other client who was going through the exact similar thing with the exact same dog, which is a German Shepherd. Like, they're going to relate to that case study even way more than if you were to give them a case study of a Chihuahua, for example, or like another different dog. So this is why having, a library full of case studies is so important, because now you can send them to people, and that is how you get them excited to even want to, work with you, because you've already helped someone who was in the same position as they did. So it's one of those things where, again, I know this is all messy. You're probably feeling overwhelmed, but this is, just to recap, the 5-point system is, you want to make sure that you have a good social media online presence. That is number one thing. Number two is you want to have some sort of funnels or sites that get someone into, like, capturing their name, email, and phone number, get them into a calendar, and then having them, having that confirmation page. Thirdly is traffic, is how do you get people to go into this specific landing page that you just created? And that is, running paid ads to it and using Facebook and Instagram. And even just $500 can get you a very long way. Like, imagine $500 getting you like 2 clients. Like, how great would that be for you? Like, that can, for some of you guys, that can be a lot of, that can be life-changing. And the reason why is because now you have that consistency, knowing, hey, if I spend $500, I'm going to make $4,000 back. So what do? You want to make more money, you put more money on ads, right? Like, that's scaling. So you want to have some sort of traffic system, and then you want to have the sales process. Again, this is the most important one right here, is sales. Is like, how do you convert someone who's cold to get them excited to go for you? And this right here is the entire process. And this is why we dedicate so much time in sales. And this is why we have weekly sales masterminds where we go over this, because this, no matter what business you're at, no matter what level you're at, this is the number one skill. And this is why I've seen great trainers who've been in the game, who's been trainers for over 30 years, 20 years, get outperformed by trainers who've been trainers for like 2 years and making 3-4 times more than them, is because they understood the game of sales, while the other one are still stuck in the traditional ways. And right now we are in the middle of a transition. Like, back then, relying on referrals was enough to get us by, or even more. I went through that. I was making, 15, 20,000, like, no problem at all. But then what happened as time went by, I started to see this starting to become harder to close people. It started to become harder to even talk to people. But that's because the trust was so low and the competition was so high. And that is what's happening right now. So you need that sales process in place. And then, of course, I'm not going to talk too much about delivery, because that is more you and like exactly how you train them in your customer service. But you want to make sure that you are going above and beyond for the client. You want to make sure that that is how you get people referrals, right? And this is why Lynn is a perfect example of this. Why she's having this, because now she's getting referrals from the clients that she got from the paid ads. And she's already got like 5 referrals or 6 or something like that from clients that came from the paid ads. So you're starting to see the value. This is why I love paid ads, but this is why I love paid ads. It's just very predictable. And, it's just her and her husband, like, I've already told her, hey, if you're looking to scale to like 40,000, like, we might as, put on anywhere from 500 to 1,000 more on ads. But she doesn't want to, because she just doesn't want that workload. She's way more than comfortable right now, because she's already making this with that, with the ads, plus what she's making already, with all the referrals. But yeah, this is the 5-point system that it just continues to, to work time and time and again. So what does this mean for you? Okay, so I want to do something special for you. If you stayed all the way to the end, and then you want to see which of these 5 are your biggest constraints are, then right below this video, I'm gonna have a link for a free transformation session. What this free transformation session is we're gonna dive into your business. We're gonna ask you some questions regarding this 5-point system. And then we're going to be giving you a 12-week program, depending on what your biggest constraints are. And from, doing this free transformation center for hundreds and hundreds of dog trainers, I can tell you that it's either traffic or sales. Sometimes a little bit of funnels, but the majority is sales and some sort of traffic. But we'll give you a game plan exactly what you need to do in order to fix those. Or if you're someone who's just like, I'd just rather have someone to do it for me. You guys look legit. You guys know what you guys are doing. Then on this call, and we could just go over exactly how that would look like and help you, just like how we've been able to help Lynn, how we've been able to help so many other dog trainers grow and scale their business simply by using this 5-point system. And again, I have not seen any other ad agency do this. A lot of other agencies just give you a name, email, and phone number, and that's it. You are on your own. But at the end of the day, it's like, I would be doing a huge disservice to all of you guys if I just give you just an info, a contact info. I need to make sure that me, myself, I know that a majority of the sales. So this is why I'm really, really huge when it comes to sales. And we have all the sales training from six-figure dog trainers, from one client who, what he does, not a dog trainer, but what he does is he teaches other people how to sell pretty much. And he made 10 million last year, right? I've had his training given to all our people in our community. So, if you just want to, up your sales game, you want to up your ads game, and you want to know more about the 5-point system, claim your free transformation session, and then we'll just help you out. And if you found any value on this, in this video, then just do me a favor, just give me a like to help the algorithm, give me a subscribe to my channel, because again, I am on a mission to make Canine Conversions the #1 educational platform for dog trainers and dog business owners, or just any business owners in general, based on what I've been able to do and what I've been able to do with all my other clients. So I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.